Hey, what's going on? You know, they don't tell you everything. Matter of fact, they make it almost impossible for you to figure things out. And the other thing they've done is they have done things to our brains to make us not think in a chronological type order and without critical thinking. So it took me a while to figure out from the internet what's really going on. This is going to blow your mind. They tell you that nuclear power is clean energy and all that. Okay. What they don't tell you is that when you mix, when you have a nuclear power, you have to boil water, right? And how you boil water through fission. Okay. And we're not going to get into that. We're going to get into the byproduct. They also use lithium. Okay. And they put lithium into the water. It's an absorbent. Okay. If they didn't put the lithium into the water or the coolant water, um, then we would have like nuclear reactors going AWOL. In other words, melting. And so they put this stuff in there. But what happens is it creates a byproduct called tritium. Okay, tritium, and they tell you, hey, it's just a byproduct, and they tell you people who live around nuclear power plants are exposed to tritium. Okay, and so when you see that steam coming out of the plant, it's a coolant. If a bird flies over that and breathes that, it's going to be exposed to some tritium. That's why they say people who live around nuclear power plants are exposed to tritium. Now, they're not telling you everything about tritium. All right, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to blow your mind here. And then when other nuclear power plants, they use water and dump it into the lakes, or they dump it into the rivers. So theoretically, they dump water into the river, and it has tritium in it. Tritium is a beta, okay? You got alpha, beta, gamma. And we're not. You want to learn about all this stuff? You look it up. I'm not going to sit here and try to do chemistry for you. You can figure that out. I'm just going to tell you the basics. So they're allowed to dump this stuff. Now, just remember the magical number here, 12.83. That's how many years it takes for this stuff to cut in half and decompose, okay? It disintegrates and breaks. It's called a half-life, all right? So then they said you can dump. Ready for this? And don't worry about these numbers. I'm just going to use just that. Don't worry about the picocures per liter. But they're allowed to dump, ready? 21,000, I'm sorry, 20,000 picocures per liter of tritium. They're allowed to release it into the lakes, into the air, into the rivers, into the ocean. Okay, and so they're allowed to. And they say, oh, it's safe levels. But then when you ask, is 21,000 unsafe? They say, yeah, we recommend that you do limit your exposure levels. Right now, jump over, get an airplane, fly over to Europe. They have 2,700. So when you ask them, well, is 9,000 unsafe in Europe? They're like, oh, yeah, it's not safe. But 20,000 is safe in America. Now, it's getting worse now. It's ready for this. It accumulates. Yes. So if you were to dump this stuff into a pond, every day they would dump water into it with a little bit of tritium. Okay. Acceptable levels, 20,000 picocures per liter. Not supposed to hurt you. It's a beta. Okay. And but in Europe, 2,700 can hurt you. It's the same thing. So who's wagging the dog here? So now this stuff starts to increase in the lakes, and your municipality takes water from the lakes or from the rivers or wherever you live, and it treats it and it takes out the coliform and it takes out the fecal matters. It can't take out meds, and it can't take this stuff out. No, it can't take this stuff out. It's radioactive water, low levels. Okay. Now you're starting to drink it, and let's say you're getting water downstream from a plant. 12.8 years, okay, it takes. So you drink this water, and that radiation gets in your body. It's only 20,000. Don't worry about it, but you do it every day. And if it accumulates in the water and in the lakes and in the ocean, it's going to accumulate in your body. And that's why a lot of people that live near these plants get sick, but it takes 10, 20, 30 years. And they usually move. We move every 7, 10 years, right? So there's no way and there is nobody that's adding these numbers up. There's no one taking stats on this. And and so now you got nuclear power plants dumping into our lake, a bunch of them, and it's going into the lake, and it hangs out in that lake for 12.38. I think it's 12.3 or 12.8 years, and it keeps on accumulating. Like right now, what happened, and also they have this water, and if you have a failure, now here's the real kicker. When you have a release, and we have 60% of all nuclear releases in the world out of our little 80, 100 nuclear power plants that we have. Matter of fact, there's one right now going on as I make this video. They just told you about it last week. 400,000 gallons of titrated water, tritium in the water, has been leaked into the ground and into subsurface waters and waters in Minnesota. Okay, they didn't tell you about that. You know why they told you about it? Because we had that train derailment and that hit the news, and now you got everybody all worried about clouds and plumes and leaks, and so they're throwing that out there. You know what they're really doing? They're just desensitizing and normalizing this. Now, this is the leak we know about right now. 400,000 gallons of water of tritium, Tritium, okay, escapes, and they're cleaning it up. They're cleaning it up. Oh, it's low levels. Oh, you get more radiation from a banana. Who are they kidding, man? Who are they kidding? And they don't tell you that there's different levels. They don't tell you that our government raised our levels. Do you know that 20,000 picocures per liter is approximately 7.4 times higher than the rest of the world's tritium levels? And if you put that in percentages, it's 680%. 680% higher than people in Europe. So we can dump nuclear water with tritium in it into our lakes, into our rivers, into our ponds, into the ocean. That's 680 times higher than if you lived in Britain or anywhere in Europe. Matter of fact, anywhere in the world. And 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 that's the big thing about Japan dumping their water, millions of gallons. But theirs is actually higher, super high. They didn't even tell you, the becquerels and that. I mean, you got to look for it. And if you try to find this stuff on Google, man, it's like all happy, happy stuff on Google. Oh, it'll make everybody happy. Everybody gets a trophy. And they never really, if you ask them, they'll never really tell you. You almost have to figure it out yourself. And like, they won't tell you that the nuclear power plants around our Great Lakes are dumping tritium into our water, and they're not telling you that the water keeps accumulating and getting more and more and more tritium as they dump it in, and they're not telling you that it lasts 12.83 years, so every 12 years it goes into half-life. They're not telling you they can't take it out of your drinking water. What they're telling you is you can drink 20,000 parts picocures per liter of tritiated water. Now guess what? Radon, 300 picocures per liter of radon in the water, oh, that causes cancer. That's radioactive too. So 300 radon causes cancer, but then they'll never use the cancer word. You know why? Because there's no test on it. And by the way, you can, there's 500 things that happen to you before you get cancer. You get toothaches, to low immune systems, to colds, to diabetes, all that stuff, all in between to cancer. And you got to think about that. People tend to be a lot sicker to live around power plants. You almost can't even, you don't even know about your water. If you've got water that's like in Florida, that the water's getting in the aquifer, and the aquifers, they hold water, right? Now the levels are getting higher and higher and higher. You know why? Just like what I said, they accumulate. The tritium levels accumulate. This is your nuclear power plants. 500 of them all over the world, 80 or 90 of them in the U.S., all dumping tritium into the air. And when you see those little vents, those smokestacks, they're not smokestacks, they're cooling towers that are always 24/7 putting vapor into the air. Oh, it's just vapor. Oh, just vapor with tritium in it. That's right. They're allowed to. And there's some in there. And if there's a release, the levels go extreme. And guess what? No one's taking those samples. Oh, you find a bunch of dead birds. You find like 100 dead birds somewhere. Oh man, maybe they flew into that cloud and it was a release that we don't know about. They have releases all the time. Chicago had 6 of them in like a period of 5 years. Tritium releases into the water, into the groundwater, into the sewage system. These things are happening everywhere. And not only they're accidents. I keep making videos on how these are accidents. They're just dumping the stuff all day long into the air and into the water. And why do we have 20,000 picocures per liter and Europe's got 2,700 or 800? Are they like special people? Are the people are they different than we are? Oh, can we handle more? And our food is no different. They raised our food 12 times, 1,100% more radiation in our food. And there ain't nobody at the grocery store. You go to the grocery store with a Geiger counter. Do you go there and test your food? No, man, you just eat it. It's good to go. Go get your salmon at the restaurant. Oh, that salmon's good. Probably radioactive. And I've got videos on that, and there's a ton of videos. You got to find these things. They don't want you to watch this. They don't want you to watch this. What they want you to do is watch Hollywood. You could look up and find out, any Hollywood movie star, anything you want about them, what kind of food they eat, where they live, how much money they make. But if you want to find out how much tritium is in Lake Erie or Lake Michigan or in any of those rivers and how much tritium people are taking out of the rivers and how much is getting into their water, low levels, permissible. They're low permissible levels. Everything is a low permissible level, people. You're being bamboozled. They're lying to you. They're lying to you. There's no such thing as low levels of radiation like that. Oh, you get more radiation for going out to the beach or eating a banana. That's for you stupid people. You believe that stuff, and that's what you whenever you hear somebody say, whenever you hear anybody say, oh, you get more radiation from the sun or from a banana or from some kind of nuts, you know what? Just say you're one ignorant fool. You're an idiot. You have no clue. You've been brainwashed by repetitive programming, MK Ultra styles on your television, on your news. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. Complete bullshit. And if you spew that shit on Facebook, that nuclear power is good, you deserve to drink a glass of tritiated water. I want you to put 20 picocures per liter of tritium in your water and drink it. Do it. You idiot. You guys are idiots. All of you people are idiots. All of you, including the people who run this world that think this shit's good. You're idiots. 20,000 picocures per liter is good. It's okay. In Europe, it's 2.7. It's good. It's okay. There's nothing good about that. 12.8 years half-life? Are you kidding me? That water that you just drank in that cup, 12.8 years in your body, you idiot. You're an idiot. That's why I get rid of you people that are my friends that argue about this kind of crap. I can't you know what I gave up for Lent? Arguing with idiots. And anybody that says a banana is okay, it's low levels, and you get more radiation for banana than you get from a nuclear power plant, you're an idiot. You get more from the sun, you're an idiot. Yeah, you get some stuff from the sun, especially if you're near one of them rocket launches, because that Elon Musk is putting holes in our atmosphere. That's a whole nother video. You're an idiot. They're not telling you about this stuff. All of them are dumping this stuff everywhere. And if you live near one of these plants, move. Move. And they're all going to start leaking too. They're all going on 40 years. They gave them 20 more years. They signed contracts and gave these obsolete dinosaurs 20 more years. These things are being held together by super glue. There's leaks everywhere. These things are popping like zits all over the place. In the next 10 years, you're going to see way more Nagasaki's. I'm just using that as an exposure rate. Way more, maybe more nuclear power releases. We may even have meltdowns. I mean, there's always a meltdown, a good meltdown every, 30 years? I mean, All those people that were exposed to 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 that nuclear meltdown back in the 70s and 80s over there in Europe, they're all getting sick now, 30 years later. All those people in Fukushima, that's only 12 years, they're getting sick. People that were exposed to that plume that came over with that cesium, and there, I'll make a video on that too. But we're talking about tritium, what's leaking right now in Minnesota that nobody cares about, nobody knows about. What you need to do is research what that really means. That's what this video is about. It's what that really means. It means that they all are dumping this stuff into our water, into our aquifers, into our rivers, into our lakes, into the water that the municipalities suck out and send back to us in our pipes, and we drink it. But we're allowed 20,000 picocures per liter, and it's going to be 12.8 years in your body. And as you drink more of it, it accumulates. Because if it accumulates in the river, it accumulates in your body. And you know what? They're not going to test that because that's over years and years. All right. Hey, thanks for coming on. And I didn't answer your questions.